Podquest.
Well, okay, who would renew us
The Elder
from the
Gods.
Mortal Kombat universe? They don't listen. They
They
already know all this.
Yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing that I noticed back, weeks ago when I rewatched Annihilation, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The Elder Gods waited until Shao Kahn was almost finished conquering Earthrealm, and then they intervened and they stopped him because he broke all the goddamn rules, him and Shinnok, right? And that's what the he must win message was, the super vague he must win message that that Raiden sent back in time to himself in the reboot was Shao Kahn has to win because he breaks the rules and then the Elder Gods will intervene. But he has to actually it's you can't arrest him for attempting it. He has to do it or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I
what I was about to say was innocent until proven guilty, which is not what that means even remotely.
I don't think so. I don't think that's what it means.
I don't think that's what that means at all.
Yeah, I guess probable cause, whatever. Maybe Elder Gods work by
probable
different
cause. It looks like you're trying to conquer the realms.
Well, let's just see how this plays out.
I'm waiting for the Clippy update where it's hey, looks like you're trying to conquer the realms. Would you help with that?
But I think that, is this an instance of the video games borrowing something from the movies? I think you could make the case. I don't know that I'm the one to do it.
I think you're absolutely the person. Who else, if not
True.
you?
It probably is me, honestly. I'm the one who gets obsessed with this.
You're the guy for this.
Nonsense.
This is your thing. This is what you do.
Oh, good. Super well. My legacy.
This is my Mortal Kombat legacy.
My Mortal Kombat legacy, which I watched all of, finally. I finally watched Legacy 2. It's good. It's not my favorite Mortal Kombat stuff, but
Now we're going to cover your favorite Mortal Kombat stuff next season, a.k.a. Defenders of the Realm.
That's right. I guess we should tell, hey, gamers, big news.
Get your PogChamps ready in the chat of this podcast, gamers, because... No, we're not. No. We can't do gamer motif.
So, yeah. Corey and I have some news. We're not quite halfway through Conquest yet. This is episode 10 that we're going to talk about today, but we're about to be halfway through. Mm-hmm. And Corey and I decided, with just a little bit of me threatening him, that we're going to go ahead and cover the rest of what I'm going to call the Lawrence Kasanoff Mortal Kombat universe.
LKMKU.
Yes, that whatever you said. So
it was 5 letters, Neil. It's not that hard to figure out what I said.
But I was talking over it, so I didn't hear them all.
LKMKU.
Yeah, we're going to cover the whole LKMKU. I'm calling it the Conquest timeline. So what this means is once we wrap up Mortal Kombat Conquest, we're going to talk about the Mortal Kombat films, the Mortal Kombat Journey Begins animated special, and the cartoon series Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realms. All 13 episodes of that as well.
And what this really means is you can look forward to more of us and more of this because, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the big podcast execs over at Big Podcast said they liked what we were doing. So we got a contract all sorted out.
So our spin, I know the Mortal Kombat movies have been talked about a lot on other podcasts, and there's just no shortage of coverage on those. Our spin on all of this is going to be looking at it all through the lens of Mortal Kombat Conquest, treating everything as one continuity that starts back here with our friends Kung Lao, Siro, and Taja.
And I'm certain nobody else is doing that.
I'm absolutely certain. So we'll be, connecting threads, seeing what calls back to what, etc. And just
looking at Quan Chi's fit, which he apparently does not change for hundreds of years.
Absolutely not. There are definite plot holes. There's going to be a lot of continuity errors after we cover Annihilation and Defenders of the Realm, because both of those are sequels to the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Those are actually just, they are plot pocket dimensions where different things happen.
It's basically a split timeline at that point, because there are definitely things that happen that contradict each other. But you know what? That's just some of the wild shit that I cannot wait to talk about.
What we're actually going to do is Neal's going to cover one of those, and I'm going to cover the other one separately, solo, and then we're going to reconvene and have an argument over which one is correct.
We're not doing that.
It's a good idea, though.
I'm not watching Annihilation alone again. Once we wrap up Conquest, we're going to dip into the Mortal Kombat The Journey Begins animated feature that was released as a tie-in for the movie, the live-action movie. And while it's, it's kind of an alternate retelling, a kid-friendly retelling of the sort of boat ride and opening events on Shang Tsung's island, it does also go back into the history of all the different characters that we're going to see in the movie. And as far as I can tell, having rewatched it recently, none of it contradicts anything that we see in Conquest. In fact, some of it reinforces the stuff that we see in Conquest. So that's absolutely canon. That's up first. Then we'll jump into the first movie. We'll jump into Annihilation, and then we'll finish things off on a high note with the wild-ass cartoon series Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm.
Featuring everyone's favorite Mortal Kombat combatant, Curtis Stryker.
Yeah, heavily featuring Curtis Stryker, voiced by Ron Perlman. That's going to be a fun one.
Don't get any better than that.
Anyway, that's the feature of the show. But for now...
And then after that, we're going to become a Pacific Blue podcast. Everybody knows that.
Oh, I guess that's another thing. We are definitely talking
We've been
about...
renewed for Season 3, Pacific Blue cast.
We're definitely talking about committing to some of these bonus episode ideas we're always pitching. We will be exploring some Pacific Blue episodes here and there. We'll definitely be diving into some of the Jeffrey Meek Raven television series. I'm pulling for a Crow Stairway to Heaven bonus episode myself. We'll see how all that goes. But those won't be...
We should start... At what point are we going to start covering the novelizations?
Oh, do you think I haven't considered that? You think
Get me a copy of the book and I'll read it. Fuck it. Who cares?
You think a study of the changes between the novelizations of the movies, like differences between the two, like that's going to come up for sure.
At the end of this process, which one of us gets the doctorate?
The tough part is how we're going to spread the Mortal Kombat movie out into 22 episodes.
I don't think we have to do that. But first, y'all hear about this Mortal Kombat Conquest thing?
Mortal Kombat Conquest, Episode 10, Unholy Alliance, gamers.
Welcome to the Unholy Alliance. Sorry, I stepped all over your bit. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. This one's directed by Charles T. Kangangis.
That's a new name, right? We haven't heard, has he directed anything yet for us? I don't think so.
No, this is his only episode, but he did direct 7 episodes of According to Jim, and he directed 3 Ninjas Kick Back. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah. And written by our friend Sean Catherine Derrick with Kiri Peak, another new name. This is Kiri Peak's only episode of Mortal Kombat Conquest. But
interesting.
They were an executive producer on American History X.
Oh, okay.
And the TV show Leverage.
I have no idea what that is.
But, by adding Defenders of the Realm to our podcast list, we're going to see so much Sean Catherine Derrick. A ton of those Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm episodes. Most of them. I think most of the 13 episodes are hers.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, we haven't been super crazy about her episodes in the past.
No, not especially. I don't remember precisely which ones were hers, but I remember not being like head over heels at any point.
I think with the exception of maybe The Essence.
Yeah. How many is this? Is this her 3rd? 4th?
This is her 4th episode that was either written by... On this one, she has a screenplay by, because the story was written by Kiri Peak, who also helped with the screenplay. And maybe that's why this one is leaning towards a little bit of a better episode, in my opinion.
That was a very loaded way to phrase that.
And I want to drop one more name before we get into this because of the Quan Chi makeup is so good. Key makeup artist for the entire series, a man named Lee Grimes, who is... he just has worked on everything. But this is the guy who is the key makeup artist for The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead now.
Oh, wow. We love a glow up.
Well, he also did Spring Breakers, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, Zombieland, and The Water Boy.
Oh, okay.
And Clarissa Explains It All. So
before my time. that
He's
one.
really done it all.
Lee Grimes has done it all.
Shout out to Lee Grimes, because I think that the makeup work on Quan Chi is probably the best example we've had so far.
It's one of the best examples I've ever seen in fiction of a person whose face is completely white, where it doesn't feel like the paint is constantly kind of coming off of their face.
Knows what he's doing. He's working on Walking Dead now, so.
And people love that. I've never seen a single full episode of that show, but people like it a lot.
Ooh, R.I.P. your mentions.
Yeah, okay, yeah, come at me. Walking Dead stands like 18 years after that show was relevant or whatever the fuck. I don't remember when that started. I know it's not that old, but...
Anyway.
Yes,
so let's... God damn it. Let's go over to the Corey corner.
Oh, yeah, we have a drop for that, right? Yeah, we do.
for an episode rundown.
Welcome to the Corey Corner. I was about to say Corey Corner, even though I just acknowledged that we have a drop for that, because I'm useless.
Oh, come on, man. You got a lot to offer.
Thank you. Just like an episode recap. So we got Kung Lao, who is really sort of back in the throes of grief over the loss of Jen. He's been having visions again, including Scorpion and all that. Just the whole tragedy of Jen's loss is really affecting him again, and he's having another sort of crisis about the burden he carries in training new warriors and the burden of emotional trauma and the burden of being the champion of Mortal Kombat. And we get some time with Raiden where like he's like, what if I'm not the person for Earthrealm? He seems like he's sort of like very cynical about Earthrealm and just people in general at this point. He doesn't think it's necessarily worth saving. Meanwhile, we've got Shang Tsung summoning Quan Chi to the Cobalt Mines, an interested Quan Chi, a curious Quan Chi, and they cut a deal to form an unholy alliance because they decide that there is a lot to be gained by getting Kung Lao out of the way, and then Shang Tsung has a lot to gain with the Emperor and getting out of the mines and all that, and then Quan Chi is going to get the ability to siphon people's souls out of their bodies, and Kung Lao's soul, which is a pretty big get. So the whole trick here, because they can see that Kung Lao is very sort of dissatisfied. And there's a word I want. I keep wanting disenfranchised, but that's not the word. And it's not dissatisfied, but it's dis something. And whatever it is, somebody getting
disappointed?
No, it's a different word. Maybe the word isn't real. I don't know.
Dissociated?
He's a lot of things about Earthrealm, so they're like...
Demoralized?
Now's our chance. So they create a pocket realm that is...
Demonic?
Zhujin, but perfect and beautiful, and
these nuts,
like a paradise. And Jen is there, and the Baron is there, and everything's perfect, and everyone's alive, and everyone's lovely, and it's colorful. And they are hoping to seduce Kung Lao into staying, and then turning that place into basically hell and trapping him there.
Yeah.
And then, if you can believe it, because there's 12 more episodes of this show, he finds a way to get out through the power of friendship.
Disenchanted?
Yes.
Got it.
Disenchanted. Folks, professional word sayers over here, and we eventually got there.
Professional. I'm not getting paid for this yet.
I get paid to say words sometimes.
I've certainly spent a bunch of money doing it.
Professional money spenders here.
Yeah, that's it. That's the episode. I guess the one big thing, we'll get to it when we talk, is that this deadly alliance between Quan Chi and Shang Tsung does break bad at some point, but we'll get there.
It breaks bad the closest you can get to immediately without it being immediately.
And honestly, in kind of a unsatisfying way. But I still really liked this episode. I know you were saying earlier you were kind of left wanting more, expecting more.
I don't want to use the word expected too much, but I think this is an episode where it doesn't feel like very much actually happens, and there are so many fucking characters in play all at the same time. Like there's the Baron, Jen, Kung Lao, Quan Chi, Xian, Vorpax, Shang Tsung, Raiden, all at the same time, and it still feels like nothing happened. It feels kind of, to me, the experience of watching it felt kind of hollow. Like, stuff happens in the sense that the plot is moved forward and the show develops, but it wasn't like a very it didn't feel, I don't know, thorough, I guess. And
it was a small story. It was a really interesting scheme that they came up with, and it was gonna fucking work.
yeah, because Kung Lao's being a baby, like.
Yeah.
But and the Quan Chi Shang Tsung stuff is just an overflowing font of missed opportunity.
Yeah, it kind of was. Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
You're allowed to like it and agree that some of it's lame.
Well, some of it's definitely lame. That's part of the appeal to me. That's part of why I liked it. I liked the Quan Chi Shang Tsung interactions. I do think that they could have done more with it.
Yeah, some of like it's fun. It's like snarky and back and forth, but like they're also on screen together once. It's almost certainly not at least one of the regular actors, because every other conversation they ever have is just cut shots back and forth where they're clearly just talking to like a wall. And it's like, you guys couldn't even get them like goofing around in the same fucking set. Like,
so my theory is, you remember how we had that episode where Taja was just absent the entire time, and then the following episode was like a heavy Taja.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a production reason, like they shot it separately or something, but it's like these characters, you got to get them on screen together, man.
There's a similar thing here with Quan Chi, where maybe because I'm sure once they got him in that makeup, they were like, okay, we can afford to do this once, so we got to film all his shit for Quan Chi episode and for the Unholy Alliance episode all at once.
Yeah, that may well be true, but I am loath to give a show credit for having a weaker episode because of limitations that are slightly self-imposed.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's TV magic, baby.
Showbiz, baby.
Right. Well, let's just get into it, because there's
Let's just jump right. Sorry.
There's definitely a few things in this episode that I was really into. One of them is just an early establishing shot, but we're not there yet. So
you're jumping to something already that is just 4 minutes from now in terms of actual content.
I know. So, like, I guess our opening scene is pretty much Kung Lao trying to meditate in Jenn's bedroom, and he's getting visions again. He's getting visions of Scorpion killing her and her dying, and like weird, I don't know what to call it, flashes of stuff that looks like Slipknot album cover art.
Oh, yeah. It's just some edgy Scorpion-ish stuff.
Yeah. So he's having visions like he was back in episode 1, Warrior Eternal Part 1 and 2, I guess. And yeah, it's kind of fucking with him, but we don't hang out with him too much because we just cut right over to the Cobalt Mines where Shang Tsung is doing like a summoning spell, like requesting Quan Chi's presence.
Yeah, well, and yeah, so he just tries really hard, and then he like shoots like a green like orb. Yeah. Like
a lot of green magic in this one, and
he just like a wealth of it, an embarrassment of it, if you will.
We are lousy with green magic in this episode.
And then yeah, Quan Chi's just like, "Sup, you called?"
Yeah, and Vorpax is there too. She's kind of like spying
poorly. What she's doing is crouching far away.
She's always spying poorly. Whenever she spies is the thing. So, bam, Quan Chi, and he brought Xian with him, one of his assassins from last episode.
Seemingly his favorite.
She's the one played by Dana He, who's also a stunt worker on the series. Mm-hmm. And
yeah,
Quan Chi and Xian are just hanging out now in Shang Tsung's area.
I don't know why I'm laughing so hard at this particular use of the phrase Shang Tsung's.
That's the official name. It's Shang Tsung's area. You know?
I know, but like it's like even dumber than Shang Tsung's island.
Well, he doesn't have an island anymore. He's just got this area to, bang around in.
Yeah.
I think so right away the Quan Chi Shang Tsung banter starts, and Quan Chi's like, oh, so this is your area, huh? Shang Tsung says something about it being like, at least it's not the Nether Realm. And Quan Chi reminds him, well, I choose to live in my realm. I'm not a slave or a prisoner there.
Yeah, there's like, they're having like they're not one-liners, but like the snark attempts in this conversation all between the four of them is like bordering on critical mass.
Yeah, because then like Sion finds Vorpax, grabs her by the neck, and is like, it's a spy from Earthrealm. And Shang Tsung's like, no, she's cool. Whatever.
She's with me.
Yeah. She's with me. She's my girl. Sometimes.
And then Vorpax is like, I'm not anybody's anything.
And what does she say? She says to Sion, what are you, Quan Chi's harlot? And Sion corrects him. Actually, I'm his assassin. And I love my job.
Which is great. Like, yeah, that's what's on the LinkedIn page. So
Quan Chi's like, what are we doing here? Shang Tsung says, I want to form an alliance.
And Quan Chi's like, pretty cool. Why? And then the best shot the show will ever have happens.
Yeah, we get a new establishing shot of the cobalt mines from like way high above. And you see all of these like bamboo platforms and shit and fire and lava everywhere. It looks like the, where Scorpion fights Johnny Cage in the Mortal Kombat movie?
Yeah.
When he teleports him. It looks just like that. Like that's definitely we don't know what that area actually was in the movie, but
it's certainly not Shang Tsung's area.
Yeah, it's certainly not Shang Tsung's area.
That much we know for sure.
But those same like bamboo platforms and scaffolding and everything are just like all over these mines. And up at the top on a platform overlooking everything is a motherfucking Shokan, right? A four-armed Goro-looking dude holding a spear.
Yeah, my note is in all capital letters. And it says, oh my fucking God, the Goro-looking guy.
Yeah.
I need that.
It's so awesome because, this is the subterranean realm of Shokan, but we have yet to see a single Shokan in the series. And now we got one. It's fucking rad. I did a little bit of digging. I knew people have referenced Goro showing up in the series as a CGI cameo. So the information is out there that this is supposedly Goro. There's no way of actually knowing that. He's certainly not in the credits.
And also, why would it be Goro?
Because he's the prince, so he's up at the top.
But why would he be holding his spear like he's guarding it? Like he's like, it looked like a guy on watch duty.
Yeah, my outlook on this is that it's just a Shokan. And as the camera like pans down into the pit and starts moving down, you see some other like walkways. You definitely see some figures walking on that too. Really hard to tell because this is all DVD resolution. But I think we see another one just like strolling across a path down there.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm not committed to thinking that this is Goro.
Frankly, I just don't think it's Goro. There's no reason to think it's Goro. And, like, the Mortal Kombat universe itself has more than one Shokan character in it. Like, we have no reason to believe it's like, all of them must be Goro.
Yeah, you don't get a clear enough look at this thing to say, those are definitely Goro. That's definitely Goro's hairstyle. That's definitely
Goro's arms.
Underwear. You don't, yeah. Anyway, it's a Shokan.
Only Goro's got 4 20-inch pythons or whatever the fuck.
The only thing we know for sure is that it is not Grum.
It's not Grum.
Because Grum has 6 arms.
That's true.
No, listeners who don't know, I will not explain that to you.
Google Grum.
Yeah.
You might not get what we're talking about, but you'll find something exciting, probably.
Google Mortal Kombat Grum.
Just Google Grum.
Yeah,
Google Merg.
We have to stop this because you're setting off my Google.
Am I really?
Yeah, just straight up said, I don't understand.
Okay, Google. Grum.
Yeah. Hey, Google.
You have to keep that in.
Google Grum.
According to Wikipedia, Google Chrome is a cross-platform web browser developed...
Oh, fuck you, Google.
We're blowing up the spot of a Scottish electronic musician named Grum.
Oh, good.
Is Grum a Scrabble word?
Hey, Google, knock it off.
Bro, Grum is a valid Scrabble word.
Okay.
That's people who ask, like you Google just the word Grum. This has to stay in, please, for the love of God. You Google the word Grum and you get the Scottish man and you're like, okay, sure. And then you scroll down to people also ask, what is the meaning of Grum? Which is very funny. And then, is Grum a Scrabble word? And then, how old is Grum? Where is Grum? All valid questions. The top URL is just grum.co and it says no information is available for this page.
Oh my God. So what is Grum?
What is the meaning of Grum? Oh my God. Adjective, morose, surly, deep in the throat as a sound.
That sounds like Grum.
So, but something can sound Grum? Oh my god, it's also Grummer and Grummist.
Grummer, and Grummist. Holy moly. All right.
The landlord was a grum wretch with no soul for speculation. He was valet de chambre, not coachman or grum, and could make nothing of horses.
All right. That's enough
Okay,
of the
that's
Grum
it.
cast.
That's the Grum corner. Anyway,
we get the plan and the deal here for our unholy alliance.
yeah,
right?
which as described previously, Shang Tsung's gonna learn how to suck souls, and we'll get Kung Lao's soul, and Shang Tsung will get prizes.
Quan Chi's gonna learn.
Did I say Shang Tsung both times?
Yeah.
Sorry, no disrespect to my man Quan Chi.
We'll take it. We'll take it again, or we'll get to it again.
No, I think you could just keep it in. And
So Shang Tsung is just magicking up an hourglass, and
God, he spent so much of the episode staring at that fucking hourglass.
he really does, just watching the sands fall. And the plan is, the deal is, he needs Quan Chi's magic to help him create this thing. And what they're creating is an illusion, a pocket realm based on everything that Kung Lao wanted. You know, his like perfect life with Jen he was envisioning before she got killed, right?
Yes.
And the idea is we trap him in there, and in 24 hours, when all the sands fall out of the hourglass, we'll turn his paradise into hell, and he'll be stuck there forever, trapped there outside of Earthrealm, and no more Kung Lao to worry about. And Shang Tsung says, hey, Quan Chi, if you help me do this, because I know there's nothing really in it for you to kill Kung Lao, I'll teach you how to suck people's souls out. And make you super powerful. And then Quan Chi's like, fucking deal, dude, but I also get...
Quan Chi's like, sure, pretty cool, but are you sure you want to make me so fucking powerful and sick as to beat the shit out of you?
And Shang Tsung's like, oh, I'm just going to give you one secret. I got a bunch of other secrets that are going to keep you from doing that to me.
I'm Shang Tsung and the Chamber of Secrets.
Shang Tsung in the area of secrets.
Yeah, that's really good. Dude, I loved the MTV show Areas.
MTV's Areas. Yo, what's up? Welcome to my area. I got a pickaxe over here, and that rock, that's where the magic happens.
I'm going to... Literally. I made it a pocket dimension over here one time.
Check out this mining cart, huh? Look at those rims.
And I'm going to suck that guy's soul out later.
This is where I keep my souls.
Vorpax is my roommate.
Just points to his belly. This is where I keep my souls. No? All right. Can you give me something on that, dick?
Well, I didn't know where to take the stomach bit. Sorry.
Because I'm implying that he eats them. It doesn't matter.
No, I know, but like I didn't like. Where am I supposed to go with that? What, did he get a Happy Meal toy the first time he did it? I don't fucking know.
Right. So Quan Chi's like...
What am I, some kind of comedy genius?
Anyway, so Quan Chi's like, all right, dude, bet. But I get Kung Lao's soul. That's non-negotiable. So Shang Tsung agrees. I don't know. I guess he's just more desperate to curry favor with the Emperor and get out of the mines than he is to have Kung Lao's soul at this point. Or maybe he's got a little trick up his sleeve. We'll see. Maybe it's kind of neither. It just sort of fizzles out halfway through the episode. That's also a possibility.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to hop back to the trading post, the combat club, as we've called it on occasion.
As I think we should just call it permanently.
And Siro and Taja are sparring, and Siro's straight up like, hey, Taja, you fight like a girl.
This whole bit was so fucking dumb.
It was. And she like knocks him down at one point. I don't forget what he says. He's bitching about it, says she got lucky or whatever. She ends up betting him 24 hours of slave labor that she could take him down in one move.
Which, let's be honest. Let's just take a quick second here. Look, big Taja fan, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of bet was that? How did she think she was going to win that? What was her plan? Because you think she's going to do like a clever, funny thing, or like maybe a nut punch as a goof. And it's like, hey, gotcha, see? Haha. But she just tries an actual basic like punch and just like gets dummied immediately.
Nut punch would have been good. She'd done the Johnny Cage split.
Do it for the fans.
Do it for the fans. Do it for the fans of a blood sport also.
For the fans of nut punches everywhere.
Yeah, so then he takes the bet. This, by the way, this exact same bet was definitely Slater and Zach Morris bet from an episode of Saved by the Bell.
Sure. Also, just a weird, like, why would you want that?
I don't know. I think she was feeling like she had it and she was going to get Siro to do all kinds of humiliating shit for her. But instead, she loses the fucking bet. And now she gets to be Siro's slave for the next 24 hours. Which, like, the real reason that they did this was so that Kung Lao could fuck off and go missing. And they wouldn't really notice for a long time because Siro would be too busy making Taja wash his feet and shit like that, right? There's no character reason or good reason. It was just like someone was watching old Saved by the Bells, saw that one episode and were like, hey, that's a good idea.
Or just wanted to equate these people with like high schoolers.
Right. Which, you know, I guess Taja is younger. I don't know how much younger she is. Again, Daniel Bernhardt looks 40.
Yeah, I think the main thing is like, I don't think anybody is at the point where they're like, this is a funny bit because they're all functioning adults.
And that's part of the issue too, is Kung Lao witnesses all of this and he's like, you guys need to take this seriously. Mortal Kombat is life or death and you're supposed to be getting ready for that. Stop fucking around.
Also, I'm grief-stricken. It's very strange seeing Kung Lao come out and complain about that when we haven't seen him do, I don't know, literally any training of them for Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It feels very sudden that is becoming important again because, again, we are not seeing this part. We have no reason to believe it's happening because all we see is people get kidnapped or lost or taken places or bamboozled or something.
And honestly, it isn't happening because
it doesn't seem to be because Raiden seems like, hey, buddy boy, what the fuck?
What are you doing, man? Kung Lao's just fucked off into the bazaar. Raiden pops up and he's like, what's going on, man? And Kung Lao's like, you know, I'm supposed to be training people for Mortal Kombat. I haven't really been doing that. I don't even know if I want to. I'm having visions. I miss Jen. I don't think I want this life. Just all the same.
Kung Lao's having the same fucking boring complaining that he's been doing this entire show. And I'm sympathetic, but at a certain point, this man needs new problems.
I guess he's feeling the deadline. Like, it's still a long ways away, but he's just kind of like, you know, I've really been procrastinating on this assignment because I just don't want to fucking do it.
I think he's also decided that he doesn't like people.
This group project sucks. And I don't want
I feel like I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
But we're all going to get credit for it.
I'm not sharing my grade with Siro. It is like the show just kind of remembered what it was supposed to be. I mean, this is a pretty heavy callback to the pilot, which set up the idea that this is what Kung Lao's mission was. It feels like we are really traveling back in time. Like, this is a direct sequel to Warrior Eternal, right? All the same themes and ideas and characters and shit show up too, so.
Right.
It's the show going like, okay, we got a little off track here. Let's kind of bring it back.
This is the hour podcast of television shows.
Yeah, this is the MK Podquest of Mortal Kombat Conquest episodes.
And that's a mouthful.
Kung Lao's chatting with Raiden about all of this, and Raiden's like, okay, fuck it. Just quit. I quit too. Earthrealm, you're on your own. Psych. Snap out of it, motherfucker. You have a responsibility.
Yeah, it's a fun Raiden bit. It really feels like parenting a teenager, but like he's like having a good time, and Jeff Meek is having a grand old time.
I'm really coming around on this Raiden. I mean, he was real good last week in the Quan Chi episode, and
yeah, last 2 weeks have been good. I think before that it was like weird, shitty gym coach vibes, and I feel like those have slightly gone away.
Now it's like edgy youth pastor vibes.
Well, that feels a little mean to him.
It's like good. It's like now he's like guidance counselor vibes, right?
Yeah, but like a guidance counselor that wants you to succeed and knows you're not trying your hardest. Like, he sees the A student in Kung Lao, but he's pulling C's because he doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, it'd be cool if none of us had to do anything ever, but that's not how life works.
Yeah, what's going on? Is your home life okay?
In the immortal words of Boy Meets World, life's tough, get a helmet.
There it is.
There it is.
We go back a little bit to Siro and Taja, and Taja's like serving him food, and he keeps complaining about not enough salt, too much salt, take it back.
Honestly, who cares about this part?
I just like when Taja calls him a sadistic ass. And then she does, in fact, mention that Kung Lao's been gone a long time. Oh, they talk about how he's been spending a lot of time in Jen's room, so they kind of know that he's grieving. Whatever. Back in the fucking city, it is nighttime, right? Kung Lao's walking by this, like, creepy-looking merchant who's just, like, completely covered in a cloak, who's, like, trying to sell him some weird object.
Yeah. Not that the show is making an effort to hide that was a sketchy person, because it is somebody in a robe whose face is also entirely covered with, like, a weird mesh net. But I was instantly like, is Quan Chi in there?
Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, I was like, oh, this is such an undignified
Role for him to take.
role for someone to take that there's no way that that's Quan Chi in there. Like, that was literally what I thought.
That's how they get you.
And so this guys, it's Quan Chi in disguise. We're not going to lie to you like we did with Raiden that one time. Yeah, he's trying to sell him some weird object. Kung Lao's like, no. And then he's like, how about ladies? And he pulls it, like, he brings out like 3 or 4 women in leather bikinis. And Kung Lao's like, no, dude, no. And he keeps trying to walk. And then he brings out one more who is like bound in chains and being escorted by guards. And he's like, how about this woman? And Kung Lao's like, God, I fucking hate this place. I hate people, right? Like, this sucks. I don't want any of that, you know?
Right.
And so he's really feeling like this is the city. These are the people that I'm supposed to be protecting. I'm giving up my entire life for these gross people. Like,
Yeah.
that sucks. And then the captured woman, like, runs to the door and she's like, sir, please help me. They kidnapped me. I don't want to be here.
Well, and honestly, like, Kung Lao gets so regularly baited with this kind of thing that I was instantly like, there's no way this is real. Never once, not once in the history of this show has Kung Lao run after somebody to try to help them and something bad has not happened.
Right. But he keeps fucking doing it anyway. They
Like,
knew he was...
It's
I mean, they knew it would work.
It stops at a certain point. It's no longer honorable and it's becoming naive.
Yeah, totally.
Like, you gotta learn these lessons, my man.
So this woman is like begging Kung Lao for help, and then the guards like chase her and like grab her and start dragging her off. And then like these guys come out of nowhere and start fighting Kung Lao. And so he's like fighting these, like, what are they supposed to be in? Like, just merchant guards? Like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Kung Lao gets in a fight with 2 dudes, and it's a pretty good fight. It's another one of these standard Kung Lao 1-on-2 fights, but they're doing all that cool tag team shit, you know? The 2 guards he's fighting are in pretty good sync with each other. They're flipping off each other at the right times and all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's good. I feel bad that I don't have, like, more to say, but, like, good is very much the baseline here.
Yeah.
Like, it's acrobatic. There's some flips and shit, you know? People get kicked and punched and thrown through tables conveniently placed.
I did make a note that I really like the set dressing. This is a different sort of set dressing than we've seen. It's a little bit more decorated.
Yeah, we get some good production design generally in this episode, I think. And
We do.
There's also just some fun stuff with, like, I like when guys are throwing sticks around or, like, using big poles.
Yeah, or knives. There were some
Knives and shit, yeah. And
knives were out in this fight.
especially later we get some fun set dressing stuff, but, like...
Yeah. But there is something to be said about a fight scene in this show where I'm kind of like, I really like that drapery in the background, you know? Like, that's the level of excitement I was at with this fight, honestly. It was just more of the same.
It's run-of-the-mill, but that's not always bad, but it is definitely run-of-the-mill.
So Kung Lao wins. He beats the 2 dudes up, and he's chasing after the kidnappers, chasing after the poor woman who's screaming for help. At some point, the merchant, like, is sneaking up behind him, and that's when you get the reveal that it was Quan Chi, and then Cian pops up. Now, I missed this. Was Cian one of the women in the lineup? I don't think that she was.
I don't remember seeing her there.
Yeah, that would have been too much of a hat tip, because Kung Lao definitely knew who they were at that point, so it must not have been. But anyway, she's there now, and they're like, haha, it's fucking working. This dude, all you gotta do is pretend to be a woman in peril, and Kung Lao's gonna fall for it. But also, good for you, Kung Lao, for trying to help people even as you're so disenchanted with humanity at this point. Right?
Yeah, it's very paradoxical because he's like, I fucking hate this place. Good thing I will do everything I can to fix it while hating every second.
Yeah, I think it shows that he cares in any case.
Yeah, he totally cares.
Yeah, but he's running through the alleys and he follows them and follows the voices of the kidnappers, and he ends up going through this door with like this eerie blue glow, right?
Yeah, I didn't catch that initially. Like, what? I had to replay it again. I don't know if I just, like, I blinked at the wrong time, but I was like, the fuck? Like,
well, it was really kind of unceremonious. He went through this door with some light glowing around it, and then he emerges on the other side in
good Jujin,
but not Jujin, right? Before he emerges into good Jujin, Siro's making Taja wash his feet. And she's like, hey, I'm worried about Kung Lao. He's been gone all day. And Siro's like, yeah.
Feet, though.
We'll worry about that later. Feet first, though. And Tasha's like, I hope that's the way they bury you, which I thought was kind of...
What does that mean?
It's a torture method where you want to kill someone, you bury them, like you bind them and bury them, so like feet first, right? So they're standing upright. So they're like
just head sticking out of the ground.
Head sticking out of the ground, and then you just slowly die because you can't really get out of there. Yeah.
Well, not with that attitude. You definitely can't.
Well, you know.
That's a real Kung Lao attitude.
Yeah. So Kung Lao emerges into good Zhuzhen, right? And it's sunny and it's daylight and everything's colorful and there's flowers everywhere and there's nice people everywhere and you can overhear.
There's a dude with a bird.
You can overhear people being nice to each other.
That's the absolute funniest part, is that all the ambient noise and dialogue is just very kind.
Kung Lao immediately like goes to the trading post and knocks on the door, and he's like, Siro, Taja, I'm sorry I'm back, and I'm sorry I was wearing my cranky pants yesterday. Let me in. And a guard opens the door, and the guard is like, sir, the trading post is closed. Who are you? And Kung Lao's like, no, dude, I live here.
I like how Kung Lao is like, he doesn't go, hey, why are you in my house? He's like, no, I live here. He's like, you can, I guess, also be in here, but I live here.
And the guard says, no, you don't live here. Baron Raylan lives here. The real piece of shit from the first episode.
Real piece of shit. And guess what, television show? Making him nice for one episode doesn't change anything.
Well, he's fake nice, too.
Well, he's real nice, fake guy.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I guess they're kind of...
Except for some parts.
Yeah, you know what, actually, yeah, just fuck that guy still.
And Kung Lao's like, wait, no, the Baron's dead. And then he sees Jen. Jen comes out in the background, and she's like, Kung Lao, you made it. And Jen's back. And my note literally says, Jen's back, Jen's back, Jen's back.
My, did I not write it down? Did I not even decide this was worth mention in my notes?
You motherfucker. Jennifer Renton's triumphant return to the series, and you're like, eh.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
Maybe I just assumed I wasn't gonna forget. What my note says is, man, Kung Lao out here looking sufficiently shocked.
Sufficiently shocked. That's a good word. Pretty accurate, actually.
Yeah, like it's not life-changingly shocked or anything.
Yeah, Jen's like, you're here. And he's like, no way, this isn't real. This can't be real. And she's like, yeah, it's totally real.
Don't my arms feel real? Don't I have real human arms? How can our lives be real if our arms aren't real?
She's like, I know you're confused, but, just give it a day, right?
Yeah, just like, what if you stayed here for at least 24 hours?
Right.
No reason.
So that's that. Back in the mines, we get to see Vorpax trick a guard with food so that Shang Tsung can suck his soul out with green magic, while Quan Chi watches by peeking out from behind a rock.
Like a goofy, like, it's so, like, I want, like, slapstick comedy in the Cobalt Mines that is just Shang, Vorpax, and Quan Chi.
Yeah.
Like, I want the Three Stooges, but they're mean, and in the Cobalt Mine.
Quan Chi has no dignity in this episode.
But it's fun. It's fun as hell.
Because he's like, oh, gimme, gimme, gimme. I want that sweet, sweet power.
Give me that good, good soul.
Yeah. And Shang Tsung's like, I can't right now. I'm having to hold the illusion. I'm having to hold the whole fake realm we made together. So I can't teach you my special technique yet. Just be patient, homie. Right?
And he's like, in his deep, gravelly voice, he's like, betray me, and I will absolutely fuck you up. Betray
me, and I will absolutely fuck you up.
Betray me, and I can make this even worse by totally fucking your shit up.
I'm Quan Chi.
By the way, my note says secret green Quan Chi.
He's a Green Lantern. Did you know that?
It's true. I also want to point out again, because it was my complaint earlier, that was kind of a boring conversation considering who we've got cooperating.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Quan Chi's just thirsty for magic, and Shang Tsung's thirsty for souls. And,
my biggest complaint with all of it is just, like, there's so little, I don't want to say antics, but, like, it's played very straight, and it's played very, like, simply. Like, there's nothing to mix it up and make it fun with them together.
No, you're absolutely right. Anyway, so we're out of the mines. Kung Lao's hanging out with Jen, getting all lovey-dovey, huggy-kissy, whatever. And the Baron comes into the room, and Kung Lao's like understandably a little concerned about this because the Baron didn't exactly like him, but the Baron's like, no, it's cool. Let's have some wine and talk about things. And they have a little talk.
They have a very quick talk, actually.
And the Baron like lays everything out. He's like, I changed. I got a second chance. And I realized how much of a fucking dirtbag I was back in episode 1 and 2. So I've changed my ways. And Kung Lao's like, well, where the hell even are we? How did this happen? Baron Raylan lays it all out.
Actually gives him a full explanation. Like, I can't fucking believe he actually gets a full explanation as to what's happening. Also, like, you're giving away the whole plan. You're giving away the whole plan. Also, really quick, I have a joke note that I took that I missed earlier. Because Jen and Kung Lao start making out. And Baron Raylan just kind of kicks the door open. It's like, hey, Kung Lao, what's up? And it's got the profound energy of the Fairly Odd Parents joke. I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but asserting my authority as your father by coming in anyway.
Nice.
I just wanted to get that in there. Also, the Baron is wearing a little tiny shirt collar chain, and I think that is good.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got a little healthier than he was in those early episodes. So,
Certainly less gross.
Definitely. But also, he's not real.
That's
but he
true.
lays it out, right? He's like, there are thousands of realms. Then he names 2, Earth Realm and Outworld.
Yeah, he really doesn't sell the idea very well.
He couldn't have dropped Zatera in there. That's one that's been named before.
Maybe he doesn't know about that one.
Nether Realm was mentioned. He's like, yeah, and this is another realm. It's a little pocket realm that we have found ourselves in because we've been given a second chance, right? Basically, if you hang out here
For a day at least.
for like 24, probably 23 and a half hours at this point, maybe 23 hours. Just give it 23 more hours and you can have whatever you want. And Kung Lao like turns around to like contemplate this, right? And as he's thinking out loud, the background, like to show us the realms, like sinister purposes, it just kind of turns into like a Windows 98 screensaver.
It pierces the veil with floating green skulls.
And then, and then he turns around and it's all gone and back to normal.
Kung Lao's entire existence is being baited. Like, how can he not tell that this is a bad idea, even though he didn't see that? Like, how does he see this? And he has the full explanation that's literally using the exact language that Raiden had said to him about burden and protection in Earthrealm, even though it's sometimes vile there. And Kung Lao's just like, yep, seems pretty cool to me. Like, he's bordering on being stupid at this point.
And he's in a 3-dimensional existence. So what did all that shit just happen behind him? Like, the effect was really, really bad, is what I'm saying.
Sure it was. Of course it was. But it's good, actually.
I can't even, like, understand, like, how that would work. Is it just, like, there's just, like, a line right behind him, and everything behind him just suddenly turns into green skulls. And when he turns around, it all suddenly, like, becomes, like, 3-dimensional tangible objects again. Because that's some good tech. But, yeah, no, he totally falls for it though, because he's like, oh, this is so easy. I get to just hang out here in this rich person's house, drinking wine and banging around with Jen and
red wine.
And that's all I've ever wanted.
And then the Baron makes a weird comment about really wanting grandchildren a lot, which is a gross thing to say to them.
Yeah, he sure fucking does. You have my permission to rail my daughter.
A lot, please.
Often.
Okay, this joke's over.
Yeah. So now we're back in Shang Tsung's area, and Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are just sort of like sitting across from each other on these rocks. And Quan Chi's like, his patience is worn out, right? He's like, this is taking a long time. I already did my part. Give me my sweet, sweet magic. The cobalt mines are affecting me. I'm losing power.
Shang Tsung is immortal. I am not.
That's a good Quan Chi.
Thanks, bud. I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
Hey, it's me, Quan Chi, and I'm here to sell you Duracell batteries. You heard of the Energizer Bunny? I killed him.
I ripped his head off, and now he is my assassin. And he keeps going and going.
Energizer, call us.
We would love to sponsor your battery.
Love to Mortal Kombat. Mortal fuck. You can keep that in if you want.
Energizer batteries.
Brought to you by Mortal Podquest. Fuck! Oh my god, I can't say it right.
Energizer batteries. The zero sugar cherry Coca-Cola energy drink for your remote.
Dude, Energizer batteries, not a sponsor yet, are truly the zero energy. Fuck. Oh my god. I'm done with jokes. I'm out of jokes today. Okay? The jokes are done.
All right.
Dude, oh my god. Anyway, actually, let me try one more time.
Yeah.
Energizer. No, I didn't even like that take of the word Energizer.
Zero sugar cherry Coca-Cola Energizer drink.
Zero energy, zero cherry, no sugar, Energizer drink.
There's something in here is usable. We'll work it out.
There's a joke. Hey, it's me, Quan Chi. And there's a joke in there somewhere.
There's a joke in here somewhere.
And I threw a skull at it.
I threw some green magic at it.
Hey, do you guys want to see all of my green skulls? Later I'm going to turn into one. It's pretty funny.
I'm Quan Chi. I am mostly made up of green skulls. I have green skulls for knees and elbows.
Human bodies are 70% water. Would you believe me if I told you I'm 70% green skulls?
We love you, Quan Chi. Come on the show.
Vorpax, I love your outfit. Is it because it's made of green skulls?
Dude, we missed something earlier when they were all sitting around in the
is it when
Shang Tsung's
Vorpax
area.
and Quan Chi want to get down?
Yeah, Quan Chi gets all flirty with Vorpax, and then like Quan Chi was like, "Oh, dismiss her," and then Shang Tsung's like, "Well, you dismiss yours," and then he's like, "Well, no, yours can stick around." CN, take a hike, and as CN walks off screen, she just goes, "Nice outfit." I fucking loved that shit. Taking shots at
it is a nice
outfit.
Fuck you, Sion.
I love Sion throwing shade. Anyway, but at this moment, everyone's just kind of hanging out. Actually, Sion's gone at this point, right? But so it's Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, and Vorpax just hanging out. I need your help sorting through what happens here because I know Quan Chi's impatient and he's feeling weak from the mines, but at some point, without really expressing it, he just kind of realizes that Shang Tsung's never going to give him what he wants, or do they explicitly say it? I couldn't tell.
So, Shang Tsung's like, I'm not going to do it right now.
Right.
He's like, he keeps putting it off, and I think the way he's saying it with that bit of sarcasm illustrates to Quan Chi that Shang Tsung does not intend to do it. His intent is to make this work, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So I think it was more about intent than literal spelling it out.
Right. So, okay. Yeah, that's what. So it's like when your parents like don't want to take you to the toy store when you're a kid, so they're just like, "We'll go later. We'll go later. We'll go later. Oh, it's closed. We can't go.
Yeah.
Maybe next weekend."
Quan Chi's returning weekly to Shang Tsung's area, like, "Hey, you guys promised me soul-sucking powers." And Shang's
Take me
to the toy store.
Take me to the toy store.
I want to buy a model of one of those Energizer bunnies that we all like so much.
I'm Quan Chi, and I need a new My Little Pony.
I'm Quan Chi, and I'm wondering if you have NBA 2K14 for the Xbox 360.
Yeah, because Quan
it's
Chi
very
only has
green.
an Xbox 360.
Because it's green.
I don't have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X yet.
I've got the one that looks like Master Chief. Can you guess why? It's because he's green.
I'm hoping to get Just Dance 2012.
For Wii.
So at some point, Quan Chi just realizes that Shang Tsung's never taken him to the toy store. And he's like...
He does the equivalent of drawing on the walls in marker.
Yeah. He throws a little temper tantrum and he like drops through a hole in the ground out of there, right?
Yeah, he's out.
And Vorpax is like, "Oh shit, he's gonna go tell the Emperor." And Shang Tsung's like, "Tell the Emperor what? That I didn't leave the mines and that I still was able to get Kung Lao out of Earthrealm? Big fucking deal. What's he gonna do? He's just gonna be like, hell yeah, dude. Good job, right?" So Vorpax is like, haha, sweet.
Gotcha.
But what if Quan Chi goes to the pocket realm and he's like, "Oh, no one's gonna be able to talk Kung Lao out of leaving his paradise."
He's like, Quan Chi would never.
Quan Chi would never. And he's right. Quan Chi probably would never. But you know who would? Siro and Taja. You know, Kung Lao's friends who have just completely been forgotten about by Shang Tsung and Quan Chi up until this point. Absolutely would go try to save their buddy. And we do find out that Siro finally took Kung Lao's disappearance seriously and has been out all night looking for him, expecting Taja, his slave, to have breakfast in bed for him in the morning.
Which, just to cut a little bit ahead, which she doesn't bring to his bed and he does not eat. What the fuck? Also, how do they lose Kung Lao so easily all the time? He's like a toddler.
Right.
Like
you gotta keep him on.
Yeah, you gotta. They have to get one of those fucked up child leashes that like weird parents will get. I don't know why those are allowed, by the way. That's a fucked up thing to me. But
he's always running off after damsels in distress.
Yeah, I think like Kung Lao is the kind of dog that you have to like you can bring him to the park, but you can't take him off the leash.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to go, like, jump a fence and get lost in the woods.
Right. You know, they're probably used to it because, you know, he's definitely got that mistress in the city. We saw an episode or two ago. He's probably often gone late at night visiting her. And so maybe they're just kind of like, we're used to it. Maybe they know the places to look for him, and he just wasn't in any of them.
Well, we checked the temple and the woods and Jujin. He ain't here.
His mistress's house. Yeah, you're right. You know what? There's only like 5 places in this entire series. Why did it take all night to find them?
Siro got distracted by drinking and a bunch of hot people, probably.
So they're talking. Siro and Taja are talking. Siro is not eating his breakfast in bed. He's just talking with Taja about how Kung Lao's
he's not eating his regular breakfast, which was never brought to his bed in the first place.
Well, he wasn't in his bed. Maybe she tried his bed first, and he just wasn't in it.
Well, what he asked for was breakfast in bed. So why didn't you keep it in the bed?
I'm saying, well,
what if he wanted? Yeah, but like what I'm saying is, what if he gets upstairs and he throws back the covers and there's just like a plate of food there, and he's like, "Fuck yeah."
I know, but I don't think that's his. I mean, that would have been rad.
By breakfast in bed, what he meant was he wanted to come home and find a breakfast in his bed.
Yeah, Taja was probably worried that he'd be like, "Oh, it's too cold. Do it again," and she didn't want to do it again. So she's like, "I'm bringing the breakfast to this motherfucker." Because
if she put it under the blanket in his bed, it would have stayed warm.
And then she'd have to do his laundry.
Well, can't win them all.
Anyway, knock on the door.
Uh-oh, demons are here.
They open the door. It is Quan Chi in his street merchant get up, and he's like, "It's me, Quan Chi," and they're like,
Siro's
"Oh shit!"
Automatic response is, "I'm gonna kick you in the face."
Boom.
It's so fucking
here.
Good.
Again, Quan Chi doesn't have any of his like armor,
accoutrement,
fins or anything on. Yeah,
that is of course because it's cheaper.
Also, he's here. It's as peaceful as can be for a Quan Chi appearance.
It was peaceful until Siro kicked him in the face, for sure.
Yeah, he didn't show up looking for a fight, but boy did he get one. And we get Siro and Taja fighting Quan Chi in the trading post. It's kind of rad. I really like whoever's doing. I couldn't find the credit, but whoever is doing Quan Chi's like fight work. It's the same style as last episode. You know, a lot of the like flips and sweeps.
It's very Darth Maul with his whole aesthetic, because he's got the black robes and the face paint and the flips.
Right. But there's that really awkward time at the end of the physical fight, after he's like bested them enough, where he stops and puts his cloak back on.
For no real reason? Yeah.
Because I think I think that they had shot the other stuff with him having the cloak on, and they were like, oh, okay, we better put the cloak on him. We have to do this awkward transition where he like hastily half puts the stupid cloak back on, because now he's pulling out his green magic to like, I guess, stop them from attacking him. It doesn't really hurt him. It's like a force field kind of situation, maybe.
Come with me or die where you stand.
I didn't come here to fight you and kill you. Your boy's in trouble. You're the only ones who can help him.
And they're like, yo, why the fuck should we believe you for even a single second?
And he's like, well, because I have green magic. That's why.
And he's like, because I'm here to go fuck over Shang Tsung. Come on.
Yeah, Shang Tsung betrayed me, so now I'm getting revenge. Let's go. We're short on time. So meanwhile, Kung Lao's over in the other realm, enjoying his time. He says he wants to leave to just like gain some perspective, and the Baron is like, no, if you leave, you can't come back. You only get one chance at this, Jen shows up. She's also being like real catatonic is the wrong word, but she's certainly not emoting or acting like I remember her being.
Earlier I had a note that we skipped over, and I'm just going to go back up to that note if you'll indulge me for a second.
No more indulgences on this episode.
Man, I gotta say, based on the other actors we've seen, Jen is being pretty dramatically outclassed. She is stiff as a fucking board.
Yeah,
and
that's the term.
She is, like barely emoting and like barely like powering the sentences out of her body. Like, it's very not good. Like, it's rough.
Now, Jennifer Renton, if you're listening, we love you.
Come on the show. I'll take it all back if you come on the show.
Yeah, we had this issue essentially in the first episode of the series where she wasn't really expressing much, but then in the second episode before her untimely demise, she
has to warm up a little bit.
She had a lot more to do, but this feels like a full-on reversal.
It's not good. It's just not good.
But apparently that's what Kung Lao likes in a woman.
I think he's just shocked.
Right.
Yeah, let's not get into his preferences.
But Genevieve's appearance convinces him to commit to staying in the fantasy
He is
realm,
so easily
right?
convinced. He so clearly just wants to stay. Because, like, it should be so fucking obvious that, like, you're being baited. And
right.
He just doesn't seem to care. Very naively does not seem to care.
Not even naively. He straight up says at the end, he's like, I wanted to stay. I want to go back. I didn't care, right? He didn't fucking care.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, get over yourself. Got a realm to save. And that is it finally time for big talking green skull time?
Totally.
Fuck yeah. So they get teleported to the pocket dimension, they being Siro and Taja, and they're like, we need to get our directions from Quan Chi. And then it turns out that the portal is a big green magic hole, and there is a big floating green skull in the hole, and it's talking, and it looks like one of those wind-up chattering teeth. And it's Quan Chi giving them instructions. He's like, hey, I just got this at Toys R Us. And
I'm Quan Chi. I finally got to the toy store. This is what I got. Do you like it?
Shang Tsung let me buy these cool chattering skulls. Now I'm going to go pants him because I hate my dad.
So fucking funny. I didn't think God damn it. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah, so they're at this green Quan Chi portal, and Quan Chi's giving him advice, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Basically, he's like, you don't have much time. Go find Kung Lao. Don't get distracted by all of like how cool this place is. It's all an illusion. Don't get tempted.
And then they immediately get tempted, and Siro was weirdly the clear-headed one instead of Taja.
Yeah, which was interesting. Like, okay, so Shang Tsung knows now that they're in there. He's like, oh, I can feel Quan Chi got them in there.
He's like, oh fuck, I'm being pantsed as we speak. Slowly and dramatically.
I'm not too concerned about it because I don't think that they'll be able to pull Kung Lao away from this paradise. But now I get all three of them for the price of one. And then we see Siro petting a tiger, which was dope. Just like petting a baby tiger.
I also have a note that just says, in all caps, that's a tiger.
A real live tiger, not a CGI tiger.
So we have the money to rent a tiger, but we do not have the money to make a suit with spikes on it that you can do flips in.
Not to mention, like, the $1 million it must have cost for that sweet Shokan establishing shot.
Yeah, ILM did that.
Totally, you can tell. If you look really close, R2-D2's in the background.
Powered by Energizer batteries I bought at the Toys R Us.
And,
sorry, Quan Chi, what did you just say? Did you say Toys R Us? No, I said Toys R Us.
That's what it's called in Netherrealm.
Don't be weird. I'm not from here.
Toys R Us.
Toys R Us.
So Siro's hanging out, petting a tiger.
Taja's just straight up getting free shit.
Taja's getting offered free jewelry, and you can tell that the part she's not excited about is the jewelry. I mean, she likes the jewelry, but she gets real excited about the idea that she can just take it because she's still a klepto.
Oh, I didn't even read that far into it. I thought she was just...
Oh, totally.
Sure. And Siro's like, look, it's cool. It's cool that this place is full of tigers and hot ladies and free stuff, but we have to go save Kung Lao. Yeah,
it's nice that this nice version of Zhu Zhen still has bikini ladies walking around for Siro to leer at.
Yeah, and
that's his paradise, apparently.
Yeah, his paradise is just being able to get away with mildly creepy to moderately creepy behavior.
But they like, no, we got to stay. Let's stay focused here. Let's get to the trading post. And they do. And they knock on the door and they go in and they're like, hey, Kung Lao, we have to go. This place is not real. And Kung Lao comes down the stairs with Jen, and he's got like he's disturbingly happy.
Yeah, he's he's so happy. He looks like he looks like some weird evil shit has happened to him that has made him perpetually happy in a way that is actually physically unpleasant.
He's just like, no, guys, it's better this way. I'm staying here. You should join us. You can all stay here too, right? And they're like, no, dude, it's not real. You have to snap out of it. That's not really Jen. Siro takes a knife and stabs Jen with it.
Dude, I fucking loved that because I was like, Siro has no way of knowing what this is going to do. He has absolutely zero way of knowing that this is how this is going to work. But he's like, yeah, I'm willing to take a chance. And he just fucking stabs her right in the gut. And good thing it created a weird portal where it became clear that it was an illusion and it didn't just, I don't know, spill blood everywhere.
Yeah, it broke the illusion and she had to like put herself back together. Also, I have a note that I think in most of her scenes, she's wearing like a really tasteful turtleneck. Jen is. It's a good look for her. Anyway.
And then her voice starts to like deepen. She's like, no, don't worry, we're totally fine.
That kind of like starts to snap Kung Lao out of it. It breaks the illusion, and Kung Lao's like, fine, you guys get out of here. I don't think he's fully convinced that he wants to leave yet, but he does try to make his escape, right? He does start to make his escape. And as he's trying to leave the trading post, he has to fight more trading post guards in the black ninja outfits that we're so familiar with. And did you notice the one guy? Who they definitely put a guy in there to make it look like it was Takeda.
Oh, I didn't precisely notice anything, no.
But it was not Chris Casamassa playing him from Warrior Eternal, but it was still the same, like similar features and like slicked back hair, and he was the only one who didn't have like his face covered. So I think it was totally they're trying to like slip a Takeda impersonator into the scene. All
I noticed in that fight was so Kung Lao starts fighting dudes, and there's a dude in the back who is gonna do a move with the top of the door frame. And if you're watching him, you see him like set up, look up at the door frame, and get ready to do it, like just in frame because they're shooting it nice. They're shooting it pretty wide. Like this is the full coverage of the scene, so you see him like back up and get ready to do the bit first.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kung Lao's just like fighting these guys in the courtyard, and it was pretty interesting because at this point the illusion is really breaking down, right? So parts of the background start disappearing, the walls start disappearing, everything's just like, green magic in the background.
And honestly, this part fucking rips. Like everything deteriorates till there's basically just a door frame and like swirling green magic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool the way they put all that together. And then eventually he defeats the guards.
In another good but typical fight.
Yeah, the best part was the way that the scene was just like disappearing as they were fighting. It was pretty seamless, except for the one guy that you pointed out.
Yeah, it's not egregious or anything. You'd have to be looking at him, but it's fun. It's funny to see him like look up at the doorframe to get ready to do it.
So now Kung Lao's like booking it back to the portal on his own. Your typical slow motion shot of him running while the background is sort of being erased behind him. We don't get clear looks of that, but that's definitely what's happening. And Siro and Taja are waiting for him at the portal, and they're so afraid that they're going to run out of time. And then finally they see him coming, and they dive through. And he stops because the illusion of Jen shows up again, and it's all the same kind of shit playing, right? Him remembering how much he loves her, and her saying, don't go, we can be here forever, etc., etc. But he has to, like, give up on the dream of staying there with her and dive through the portal at the very last second as, like, the last few grains of sand fall in the hourglass, and he's free, and Shang Tsung just gets up and like angrily yells no.
And it's not a great no. It's not Bruce Locke's best no.
No, it was not as I'm sure they could have done a little ADR to make that better. Maybe that was the best they got at the time. And over top of the yell, we hear Quan Chi's laughing, right?
Yes.
And boom, we're back in regular ugly Zhuzhen, which I wrote down as cool, awesome Zhuzhen because I love that city.
Not lame Zhuzhen.
The crew meet up with Raiden.
Yeah, and then, we get the Raiden recap, which basically they all have. And, honestly, whatever, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's not that notable, like, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Kung Lao admits that he wanted it to be real. He believed it. He walked into a trap. He knew it was a trap, etc. Or he should have known it was a trap, but he didn't care. He didn't want it to be one. He would have gone back. He would go back now, etc., etc. And they kind of have, like, raised this question at the end of, like, well, you know, maybe I'm not the one who's going to protect Earthrealm. Maybe I'm not destined for this. And Raiden's like, yeah, maybe you're not, or maybe you are, like, kind of leaving it up in the air, which is interesting given the whole story that we know, because he's not the one, right? Liu Kang ends up being the one.
Well, I mean, there's one per generation, or do you mean like?
I mean that, like, so the way that it works in this universe is you win Mortal Kombat, you get to keep your youth, your life, until the next Mortal Kombat, and then if you win that one, it goes on and on and on and on and on. But they're looking for the person who can defeat Outworld, like, once and for all, right? And they had that exchange earlier where Raiden was like, if you play your cards right, you can live forever,
or at least a long time.
But we know that he doesn't, and we do know, just based on the movies and all of the things and video game knowledge, etc., like, that the person who was destined to defeat Shao Kahn is in fact Liu Kang. That happens in most timelines, anyway. Yeah. I think that's what the show was laying the seed for. This show was laying the seed for, yeah, maybe it isn't. Maybe it isn't really Kung Lao. And maybe that's going to be something that they would have explored further if they had gotten more seasons, but
can't win them all.
In any case, Conquest was going to end with Kung Lao getting his head ripped off by Goro at some point.
Yeah, somebody was getting a head ripped off by somebody. That's how it was going to end, no matter who was getting a head ripped off.
So
the rest of the end of the episode is just really fucking confusing to me.
At the end of the episode, we've got Shao Kahn and Xian. Xian's sitting on Shao Kahn's throne, just, like, checking it out.
Which apparently she's just allowed to do.
Well, Shao Kahn walks in. He doesn't mind, because it turns out that Xian was a gift from Shao Kahn to Quan Chi.
Well, but then there is also, like, a slave to two masters bit later, so it's like it's not clear what gift means in this context, and unfortunately I think it's the grosser of the two options.
But remember, Xian said earlier that she loves her job. Like,
sure,
she's into this. This is part of her character. She's, like, down with it.
Right.
And so he spends some time kind of checking her out from all angles.
Yeah, bad.
And then he sends her away, and he, like, says, bring me the next one, and it's Shang Tsung being hauled in by two guards.
For unclear reasons, because what did he do?
So Shao Kahn does mention, like, thank Quan Chi for the information he gave me. He's made a powerful ally.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Quan Chi sold out Shang Tsung.
But what did Shang Tsung do?
I think he sold out the fact that his magic is working down there. He's forming all these plots. He's trying to go after Kung Lao, and it didn't work. Quan Chi could have twisted the narrative, too, and been like...
He almost has to have lied, because, like, it's unclear why anything Shang Tsung is doing is something the Emperor wouldn't like.
Well, I think the Emperor doesn't like it when it fails, and I think, if nothing else, we saw Shang Tsung get tortured and imprisoned in the mines for losing Mortal Kombat, so he may just be getting brought up here for some more torture for failing to capture Kung Lao for the 10 billionth time, right? It could just be more, spankings.
Yeah, maybe. In any case, it's just a jarring ending.
It is. He gets hauled up in front of Shao Kahn, and we just kind of hear him, like, scream in agony as the end credits roll. And that is episode 10, Unholy Alliance.
Yeah, like I said, it's all right. It feels like there's a lot of, like, there was room for potential that kind of goes untapped in a lot of instances. And for me, it's just, it felt very run of the mill. And then the stuff that had the potential to be, like, really powerful, not powerful, that's far too just wrong a word, but exciting, like weird or fun or whatever, just sort of doesn't really get to the place you'd like it to get.
Yeah.
Some of it's definitely cool. I think, like, visually there's some cool effects going on, but overall I was left wanting a lot more than I feel like I got out of it, which is why I was just less gung-ho about it than you were initially.
I think that's fair. I think what really sold it for me was more Quan Chi, more Shang Tsung, more Vorpax, a Goro-looking dude in an establishing shot, and the return of JENN.
This is a low bar because the return of JENN and the Vorpax amount is both relatively brief, and the Shokan shot is literally like a second.
But it was rad to see. I don't know What don't you understand about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I was.
I was into it. I like.
I'm glad.
I mean, it was building.
I like that you like it.
Was building
but...
more of the mythology, right? Building more Mortal Kombat shit coming into the show. I'm always going to be here for.
Sure.
And I missed Jen.
Why? I did not. I was
no
fine.
Vorpax last episode. Yeah, it's okay. Well,
was there no Vorpax last episode?
No Vorpax or Shang Tsung last episode. So.
Well, there you go.
And I thought it was pretty interesting, the dynamic of Shang Tsung and Vorpax against Quan Chi and Xian. I thought that was kind of slick. And like this raises even more questions too, because we know Quan Chi is now in sworn allegiance to Shao Kahn because he was just kind of an independent player before then.
Well, did he ally, right? So is it swear allegiance, or are they on like closer to equal footing? Not precisely equal footing, but closer to that. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. But we've also got Vorpax, who has given her allegiance to Shao Kahn secretly. So you're also really seeing the deck get stacked against Shang Tsung in these episodes,
right?
Which is another interesting take on things, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Certainly not my favorite episode. It also helps that this one, for some reason, is one that I didn't really remember anything about.
Okay.
Maybe because it was in my head, it was just kind of like, oh, that one's all right, and never really fully paid attention. So watching it now where I have to pay attention
sure.
just made me like re-examine it all again and be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is way more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
There's enough stuff in there to make me happy.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Was not as good as Quan Chi. Was certainly better than Dead of the Dragon.
Yeah, that's a low bar.
I guess I probably put this one more in line with like the Katana episode, right? Which had a lot of cool new stuff to be seen.
Yeah, cool. So what do we got coming up?
I think next week, it's been a minute and we've got a lot of new developments. I think next week it's time to dive into a Mythologies episode where we can discuss Quan Chi and definitely got a lot to talk about in terms of Noob Saibot, who in Mortal Kombat tradition has always been tied to Quan Chi pretty strongly, and also brings the Sub-Zero of it all into all of this. So I think we'll dive into those things on a Mythologies episode for next week. After that, we are going to be tackling episode 11, which will be the halfway point of the series, an episode called Thicker Than Blood. Here's the tag for that one. Siro has an unhappy reunion when he encounters his brother working as a warrior for Scorpion.
Ah, shit.
That episode is the episode that also guest stars Eva Mendes.
Oh, okay. Is she playing the brother?
Yeah, she plays the brother. I'm gonna check Eva. I would not be surprised if Eva Mendes had been on Pacific Blue. I gotta check this out real quick. No, but she was in The Night of the Roxbury and VIP. Okay, all right.
VIP is close enough.
We don't need to watch any VIP episodes for bonus episodes.
It's pronounced VIP.
Anyway.
Anyway, I'm fresh out of comedy, so.
For now, I think it's time to jump through that green skull portal and get back to the
real world, because it's so cool and great.
Corey, what do you have to plug?
You can find me on Twitter as usual at Mr. Corey Price, and you can check out They Made Another One, the other podcast I do with our friend Liam about old or forgotten reboots and remakes and all that sort of stuff. And that's at They Made Another One on all your podcast stuff.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Final Neal. You can follow my retro gaming Instagram account at A Mess of Games, at Egrestagram on Instagram to check out Thick Siro's Thick Doors. Got a few follows on that lately, actually.
Oh my god.
And don't forget to subscribe to MK Podquest and follow us on Twitter at MK Podquest and give us some good 5-star reviews. And yeah, that's it. We will see you next week to talk some more Quan Chi and Noob Saibot and the like.
Bye.
That's all, folks.
DV.
Oh, brother. I'm going to hit stop here because we got plenty of after show stuff.
Yeah, we're covered, I think.